As the war in Ukraine continues, President Zelensky has asked world powers to boost their military support, including the United States.
Ми бачимо, що на кону в цій війні. Ми бачимо, що ми захищаємо.
Some weapons, like Javelins and Stingers, have been a consistent part of that effort.
The United States is sending a number of different systems to Ukraine that have significant firepower. They have been sending Javelins for a long time.
Javelins are shoulder-fired anti-armor missiles that have proven particularly effective against Russian tanks and supply vehicles. The Stinger is a shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missile designed to target low-flying helicopters and fixed-wing planes.
In this newest tranche, there will be Switchblade drones that are part of the mix. And this is all intended to basically give Ukrainians the ability to take out some of the Russian machinery that is moving their way.
At the request of President Zelensky, we have identified and are helping Ukraine acquire additional longer-range anti-aircraft systems.
The Ukrainian military has also requested more sophisticated anti-aircraft missile systems that would have the ability to hit targets at higher altitudes. This could include the American Patriot missile system and the Soviet-origin S-300.
As good as the Javelin and the Stinger missiles are, they don't have the capacity to reach the altitude and the distance to try to take out some of the bombers that maybe aren't flying at particularly low altitude yet before they can drop these munitions that are hurting these civilian areas of these cities. The United States does make some of those systems. Patriot missiles, I'm sure you've heard of. They're very, very powerful systems. We share them with allies all the time, but they are highly sensitive. The Ukrainians have not been trained up yet on how to use them the way that they have been on various other types of systems. And there is also a latent concern that if you lose Patriot missiles in Ukraine to the Russians and they take them, that is potentially a much broader security concern given the reliance that we have on Patriot systems throughout the globe.
We are continuing to work with our allies and key partners to surge new assistance, including Soviet or Russian origin anti-aircraft systems.
Soviet origin systems are familiar to the Ukrainians and exist in a small handful still of Eastern European countries that are part of their missile defense regimes.
І ви маєте тисячі бойових літаків, але нам поки що не дали жодного.
The Ukrainians have also asked for warplanes, a request that has remained a point of contention. The Polish government proposed sending Ukraine some of their Soviet-origin MiG-29s, but on the condition that the US facilitated their physical delivery into Ukraine from a base in Germany. The White House rejected this plan.
All of a sudden, then it became like, a Washington versus Moscow decision, and that's the proto-World War III scenario that nobody in D.C. wants to start to get involved in. The philosophical point is that we are constantly having a debate about, what is escalatory, what is not escalatory, what is a defensive weapon, what is an offensive weapon. These are also terms of art that are defined given on the space who the aggressor is.
One constant is the difficulty of seeing the actual impact these weapons are having on Ukrainian and Russian forces.
Look, this is a real hot war where people are dying and missiles and bombs are falling, and it's bloody and it's terrible. One of the difficult parts of this is that everyone is trying to make assessments in real time about how well what people are sending to Ukraine is actually working against the Russians. How much carnage is this causing on the Russian side? It's a really hard analysis to do when you don't have full visibility and you don't have great fidelity of the numbers of what's actually going on.